deep. He slides in. He's safe. Well, we hope you have had just a fantastic Labor Day. We're happy you're here with us here on Root Sports. Mariners coming back home after a lengthy three-city road trip. Tonight beginning an extended homestand. The Orioles in town, the Yankees to follow, and then the San Diego Padres. And tonight it's the first of three. The Mariners and Horacio Ramirez taking on Adam Jones and the Baltimore Orioles. The Mariners already 4-0 against the O's so far this season, as the Mariners return home after most recently a 4-game series split inside the Coliseum, taking on Bob Melvin's A's. The A's have already won today, day baseball from Oakland, as they took down the Yankees in game 1 of that series. So the Mariners now 6 games outside of that second wild card and trying to strike some serious damage in these 3 games in particular against the Baltimore Orioles. And speaking of Buck Showalter, how about this somewhat unfamiliar starting lineup for the O's?
It has been a struggle for them this year. They are last in the American League in hitting. Cedric Mullins, he will lead things off. Has played well in his first 20 games, a .278 batting average for him. Hitting third, Trey Mancini. He leads the team with 21 home runs. Caleb Joseph, the catcher, will round out the 9 for Baltimore. Horacio Ramirez, 6 starts this year. 3 of them have been exceptional, and the other 3 have been a struggle for him. But 28 2/3 overall, 20 strikeouts, 7 walks. Opponents hitting .308 against Ramirez. Average fastball at 90 miles an hour. Cutter, changeup, occasional slider, and curveball. Defense for the Mariners, Cameron Maven. We're used to seeing him in center field, but he will be in left field tonight, as D. Gordon will get the start in center. Segura and Cano playing up the middle, and Mike Zunino will do the catching. I mentioned it earlier for Ramirez, trying to bounce back after his last outing against San Diego. It was a struggle. 3 innings, 7 earned runs through just 69 pitches.
Yeah, strange thing about that, his start prior to that, which was on the road trip against the first place Diamondbacks club, he pitched very well. 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts over 6 innings. So Ramirez trying to get more in line with that outing here tonight. And Mike, we talked about this prior to those 2 games in San Diego. It's the Padres, a last place team, a lot of young players, just like this Orioles team. It could be easy to look at the standings and say, well, this is a series the Mariners should not only win, but they should win handily. But when you're talking about young players who have played less than a month, a lot of them in the big leagues, they're not exactly looking at the standings.
No, you're right about that. And one of the things that's going to be common with San Diego is they face 2 young pitchers that they really didn't do a lot against. And you're going to see Josh Rogers go for Baltimore today, another pitcher that they have not seen. So we'll see how all that's going to shake out in the end. But if Ramirez pitches well, gives him a pretty good chance.
Good start for tonight. First pitch strike to Cedric Mullins. For Horacio, only his 2nd start here at home this season, his 7th start in total. Ahead 0-2. If the Mariners do what they want, and that is sweep this series in 3 games, the Orioles will be leaving town with 100 losses. Orioles are coming off of the definition of somebody's got to win series. They were taking on the Kansas City Royals. The Royals also struggling mightily this year. They're 45-91, and the Royals had their way with Baltimore in that series. Segura over. 1 out. Well, how about the expansion era, which began back in 1961? We're talking lowest winning percentage in the expansion era. And if the Orioles winning percentage were to end where it is now at .292, it would be the 3rd worst in the expansion era. I mean, this has been just a brutal year for the Orioles. And my question about him, Mike, is we'll be seeing Alex Cobb tomorrow in game 2. Cobb signed a very lucrative 4-year deal, I believe,
right,
for this year, which would lead the average fan to think that the Orioles did not think that this would be coming, or else why would you ever spend that kind of money long term?
I think this is something that they certainly didn't expect. And you mentioned some of the trades, and basically to their bullpen, really they had to at that point. But also 53 different players, 27 different pitchers. We've seen that here in Seattle, where you have that type of turnover and how difficult it can be. And injuries play a big part of it, and they have not been able to stay healthy this year.
VR, a new face. We remember him with the Astros Manny Machado gone. Jonathan Scope gone. So a couple of all-stars up the middle. Their closer, Zach Britton, one of the better late inning right-handed relievers. Darren O'Day, he's been traded away as well. And a member of their rotation, Kevin Gossman, on to Atlanta along with Brad Brock. Mariners coming off a loss yesterday, a 4-game split against the A's. Strike 3 call. VR caught looking. 2 up, 2 down for Erasmo Ramirez. His first strikeout.
It's one of the keys with Ramirez. Typically he can work ahead of hitters because he throws a lot of strikes, but then it's the quality of the strike after that. And 0-2, now a 1-2 count to VR. 0-2 to the first hitter in Mullins, but he comes right back with a 2-seamer after the cutter and runs it back on the inside corner at the top of the zone. He's had some issues. It's in the middle of the plate when he's been ahead in the count. So off to a good start here.
First pitch strike to Trey Mancini, number 3 hitter. Now we're used to seeing Mancini in the outfield. He's getting the start today at first base. Chris Davis out of the lineup. 0-2.
That's a good slider. We've already seen the cutter at 87, his fastball at 90 tonight. His average for him. His best pitch is his changeup. And more importantly, ahead of the first 3 hitters.
Now for Mancini, last year, his first full season in the big leagues, had a really productive year. Hit .293, 24 home runs. Still a ball and 2 strikes. The numbers this year for Mancini not nearly as strong, at least in terms of the average. The power numbers will probably finish in the same neighborhood, but he's swinging a hotter bat since the All-Star break. Very close, 2-2. You can see for Mancini nearly 300 in the second half of the season. Very low average in the first half. Another foul ball. Now the road numbers almost non-existent for the Orioles since the beginning of, well, the second week of August. Fewer than 2 runs a game on the road. Jammed him.
15 pitches, 11 strikes. Baltimore last in hitting, last in ERA, 13th in fielding. Struggled all aspects of the game.
The 2-2. Next pitch should be number 9 to Mancini. Gordon angling over on it. D making the catch on the run. And Ramirez retires his side in order. We go to the bottom of the first, scoreless. A nice start for the Mariners, and Erasmo Ramirez, who retires assigned in order in the top of the first, picks up a strikeout looking as he freezes Jonathan VR on a fastball up in the zone. Takes us to our Jack in the Box starting lineups.
Mitch Haniger has been a hot hitter, leading things off. 14-game hitting streak for Mitch. Nelson Cruz, the cleanup hitter, 33 home runs. That leads the Mariners. Ryan Healy hitting fifth has also been hot in his last 16 games, hitting .379. Josh Rogers making his second major league start. See his numbers in the minor leagues: a 3.5 ERA, 101 strikeouts, over 36 walks. Opponents hitting .263 against him in the minor leagues. And Adam Jones, the former Mariner, will be in right field. We'll only see him in center, but in right field tonight. Beckham and VR playing up the middle. Caleb Joseph will do the catching.
Now, Mike, I could not believe this, and I still have a hard time believing it. You're telling me that Josh Rogers, when he started last week, was the first left-handed starting pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles this year?
With all the pitchers they've had, yes, he is the first left-handed starter for him this year. And again, this is his second major league start.
Well, that seems almost impossible.
His average fastball at 90 miles an hour. Slider, changeup, occasional curveball.
Now, Rogers, a 24-year-old rookie out of the state of Indiana. He came over from the Yankees organization in the Zach Britton deal.
Picked up a win in his first start. That was against Toronto. We went 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 85 pitches.
You can see the season numbers on Haniger. His numbers have been even better since, in particular, the start of August. No hitter in the majors has more base hits than Haniger since August the 1st. He's down swinging here. 1 up, 1 down. Here comes Segura. Well, Gene swinging a hot bat, 8 for his last 15, a 4-game hitting streak. That average up to .320 now for Gene. Looking at strike 1. When you look at this series, Mike, and this homestand, really the rest of the season for the Mariners cannot afford many series losses, and you have to figure that somewhere along the line the Mariners are going to have to sweep really a couple of series to be perfectly fair about it, and this would seem like one you could circle. Scott Service was asked about this type of thing today, and as you might imagine, as he said, you cannot win 3 games in one day, so they are very focused on today's game. No surprise.
No, but I think when we mentioned it earlier with them getting the split against Oakland in 4 games, I think you would really like to have seen them go out yesterday, win that ball game, and pick up some ground. They weren't able to do that, and that's something you and I have talked about, Aaron. With every day, that's another game that goes off the calendar now, so I'm not sure that they can afford to lose a series at this point.
Beckman throws to first base in enough time. 2 outs. First 2 men sat down. Here comes Robinson Cano. StatCast AI powered by AWS.
And of course, they're also hoping to get some help from the Yankees. The Yankees will be here this weekend, but playing in Oakland now, and played an afternoon game, and the A's were able to beat them 6-3. So the Mariners aware of that.
Shift is on for Cano. That's something we see a whole lot of. Nunez the only man on the left side.
Right, Aaron. It's rare that we see that with Robbie hitting, which is interesting because I would think that all the organizations have most of the same data. You can see what he's done as far as hits by direction. He sprays it around.
Well, and now granted, hitters can change, but I think that the Orioles have seen a lot of Robinson Cano over the course of his career.
They definitely have. Since his return, it seems to me, and really he started the year this way too, as he's made a real effort to let the ball travel and hit the ball the other way. Starting to turn on it a little bit more lately.
It's a slice into the corner. Rickard is over. It is a foul ball.
Supermo and the foul ball. Well, foul. But the 2 strikes now, they straighten up their defense.
Robbie's ready now. The 0-2 swings right through it. Now Josh Rogers, the 1-2-3 bottom of the first. We're scoreless. At 110 as part of the fun. All kids 14 and under will score a Mariners growth chart featuring teammates James Paxton. Plus, it's their final chance of the year to run the bases thanks to KeyBank. So get tickets for the whole family by simply going to mariners.com. It's good to see James back up on the mound off the DL in Oakland. Pitching and pitching well as usual. Gorgeous night. Happy Labor Day. Mariners beginning the homestand in this 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. Adam Jones on the first pitch. Fair ball. Seager on to first base. 1 pitch, 1 out. Jones thinking he's safe.
Showalter holding things up. It looked as if Ryan probably came off the bag a little bit early. The throw was going to be wide, and I think he tried to help it out. Supermo, just a swinging bunt. Kyle having to cover some ground. Also goes right over the base. Picks it cleanly. Ooh, that's close. And he is out.
Nice job by Healy staying anchored there. 1 out. That brings up Beckham.
Well done all the way around. That's one of the things we've talked about Baltimore and the struggles and being 40 and 97 and all those different things, Aaron. And it's so important to play clean, fundamental baseball when you get into these situations, because a lot of times if you're able to do that, they'll beat themselves. They have a lot of young players, inexperienced players, so you just don't want to help them out.
We saw Beckham for years up and down with the Tampa Bay Rays, coming over last year to the Orioles. And Erasmo had 0-2.
A lot of quality strikes. 20 pitches, 16 strikes. 5 batters for first pitch strikes for Erasmo.
Still 0-2. Well, nothing but strikes so far in the second inning for Ramirez. Of course, Erasmo missing so much of this season with injury. And now back making his 7th start. Another 0-2. Another foul ball. Edwin Diaz, very popular man of the ballpark here tonight. The Mariners are having the Electric Eddie's barbershop here at the ballpark tonight.
I thought you would be in line for sure if anybody was.
Line was too long.
Yeah.
Mike, I thought I would know somebody, but wasn't good enough. Everybody can look like Diaz and Scott Service tonight. Broken bat, and he winds up with a base hit out of it. Back on the wide turn, Haniger getting near the line to pick it up. 1 out single. First base runner tonight for the Orioles. That's what's left.
This is going to be a cut fastball well off the plate away, and he hits it right off the end of the bat and shatters it. We'll pick up a base hit from Mara Supermo, and right off the end of the bat. Most of the guys have a cupped bat. Take some of the wood out of the end of the bat to balance it, but if you hit a ball off the end of the bat, they typically will shatter.
Plate umpire Bruce Dreckman picking up some shards. So 1 out and 1 on. Here is Renato Nunez, the third baseman. Fouled over by Seager. You look at the American League East so far this year. Well, not so far. We're near the end of the season. And early on in the year, it was the Yankees and the Red Sox that were just neck and neck with each other. The Red Sox have now really started to separate. They're nearly 8 games ahead of the Yankees entering today. Tampa Bay has made up a lot of ground compared to where you would think they would be given all the trades. And then at the bottom, you've got the Orioles and the Blue Jays. I lift out to D. Gordon. 2 outs. Beckham back to first base. You look at their rankings, Mike. You were listing some of these earlier. Last in the league in average, near the bottom in runs per game. Home runs. Now they play in a home run friendly ballpark, to say the least. And ERA, the worst in the American League.
Yeah, it's been a struggle across the board. You have to wonder, thinking about Buck Showalter and some of the teams that he's had in Baltimore, and you mentioned it earlier, Aaron, that probably not expecting anything close to this year, but here they are, and what his thoughts are and how he goes through it on a daily basis, trying to figure out a lineup and who's going to be healthy and not. And Chris Davis, originally in the lineup, was scratched today because of an injury, so difficult year for him.
It's interesting, though, when you look at the 3 divisions of the American League. I mean, the West is by far the most competitive. On the Central, it's the Indians and then 4 teams all rebuilding. And in the East, the Red Sox are going to be a 100-win team. Here's Segura. He will step on the bag at second, and that ends the inning. Beckham retired on the bottom half of the second. there's a good look at Electric Eddie's Barbershop, and with the ticket special, you get the free haircut. There's a good finished product right there. A couple of them, in fact, and the T-shirt as well. I'll take a look now at our Coors Banquet timeless moment. How about highest average among active players against these Orioles? And it is a former Oriole, granted by for just 1 year, but Nelson Cruz, 349, a lifetime average against Baltimore. Adrian Gonzalez, Miguel Cabrera, the only two better. And we noticed right away, Mike, that Nelly was pretty hobbled yesterday.
He was not moving around very well yesterday at all, especially trying to run from first to third on a double that was hit into the corner. He held a ball off his foot on Saturday. Ended up with a pretty bad bruise from it, but he was having a tough time. And not just that, as the game was going on yesterday, I felt that with each at bat, it was even more difficult for him to have his base underneath him trying to hit. His balance wasn't real good because of it. But Nelson always is able to do. He's in the lineup and wants to stay in the lineup. He'll battle his way through it, but he is certainly hurting.
Socks this out to Rickard in left field, and he makes the catch.
Appeared that he was running a little bit better today.
That's good news. Well, the Mariners celebrate you, the best fans in baseball, on Friday, September 28th. It's the perfect night for Mariners fans, filled with giveaways, prizes. We'll have surprises, fireworks spectacular, presented by T-Mobile, much more. Get your seats at mariners.com. Hosting the Texas Rangers, who are scoring runs by the dozen, it seems like, since the All-Star break. First four men sat down by rookie Josh Rogers, the lefty making his second big league start, now facing Ryan Healy, swinging a nice hot bat. 5-game hitting streak. You can see what he's done in his last 10. And for Healy, his next home run will tie a career best 25. That's his total from last year with Oakland.
He's really been swinging the bat well and basically staying in the middle of the field, left center to center field. Trying to do too much. 5-game hitting streak.
Picked up a good piece of Ryan Healy trivia the other day, Mike.
Yes.
Now, he pitched a little bit in college,
okay,
for the Ducks, but when he went to the Cape League to play for a summer, he pitched an inning and he struck out Chris Bryant. I'd take that if I were him.
You throw the knuckleball?
Of course not. Something filthy.
Most position players like to throw the knuckleball.
The R is out. Mullins is in. 2 down. He said that he didn't know until after he was in Eugene for a couple of years that they really recruited him to be a pitcher.
Really?
He was about 6'4" and about 180 pounds coming out of high school. He played mostly first base in college, but they had thoughts of him potentially being up on the mound. 2 up, 2 down. A couple of fly ball outs here as Seager. Shift on for Kyle. Ahead 2-0. Towards right center. Jones in right field makes the casual catch. 6 up, 6 down by rookie Josh Rogers. We've played 2. scoreless inning to the books for Erasmo Ramirez. Facing left fielder Joey Rickard, missing on the first pitch. Rickard batting 8th.
Ramirez through the first 2 innings, 28 pitches, 24 strikes. 7 batters, 6 first pitch strikes. Thought that was going to be one of the keys for this game. With Ramirez trying to bounce back after the last outing against San Diego, was just having command of the strike zone, but quality strikes, and he's been able to do that. Excellent cut fastball tonight at 87 miles an hour to all these right-handed hitters. There it is again.
Thanks at 1-2. Chasing after it. A perfectly executed couple of strikeouts now for Erasmo Ramirez.
And just staying with the cutter again. Cutter 86, 87 miles an hour. The one before it was right on the corner. Primera Supermo. This one off the plate away and gets him to chase it.
Caleb Joseph, the catcher. Well, Mike, you remember the 4-game sweep in Houston, I'm sure. Not that long ago.
Not that long ago. Yes, I remember it.
After that series was over with, I flew home, had a few days off, and I took a flight out of Houston to Seattle and was with one of our producers with Root Sports. And we went down to the baggage claim area. This is pretty late at night now by the time I went home, right? It's pushing midnight probably. And he and I are talking about the series and how great it was. We're talking about the Mariners, and he gets his bag and leaves. And there happened to be a woman next to us with a baby, a very young baby. Again, it's almost midnight, right? I recognized her from the flight. They'd flown all the way from Houston to Seattle with us. And she was standing kind of close to me, and she said, you guys talking about the Mariners? I said, yeah, we're talking about the Mariners. Really fun season. She said, yeah, that was a great series in Houston. I said, yeah, it was. She said, yeah, I really hope they can make the playoffs this year. And I said, yeah, I do too. And she said, yeah, my husband plays for him. Like, oh, really? I said, who's your husband? She said, oh, Erasmo Ramirez, who happened to pitch that day.
Oh, really?
And I said, my goodness, you flew there and back with the baby to watch Erasmo pitch. So let's just say that Erasmo's got some pretty good support at home. And as it turned out, Erasmo pitched very well that day.
Yes, he did. And he is doing the same thing here today. As Maven, so he would make the catch.
That is the second encounter I've had, by the way, with somebody who is a family member with a Mariners player. A couple of years ago, I took a cab to JFK Airport after a Yankees game.
Yep.
And I started talking to the driver about this and that, and he asked me what I do for a living.
Mariners, Yankees, or just
another Yankees game?
Yeah.
And he asked me what I do for a living, and I said, I'm a broadcaster and I work for the Mariners. And I said, oh yeah, my cousin plays for the Mariners.
The cab driver?
Cab driver. And I said, oh, really? I said, yeah, Nelson Cruz. I'm like, really? Your cousin's with Nelson Cruz? He said, yeah. And then he pulled out a picture. First of all, he pulled an autographed baseball of Nelson from the center console.
Yeah.
And then he pulled a picture of him and Nelly out.
Yeah.
And then I looked at him and I'm like, oh, you're enormous. You actually look a lot like Nelson. And Nelson confirmed it the next day.
Oh, he did. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Ramirez cruising through 3 innings. Well, it really turned out to be a beautiful day. And Mike, we were most pleased waking up this morning after getting in not too late last night, but the sun was down. The smoke is gone.
The smoke is gone.
I'm sure for everybody here that's old news, but for us,
beautiful day.
First time. Maben finds a hit on the first pitch.
Mariners' first hit. Good way to start the third. Rogers throwing a lot of strikes. May have been paying attention. First pitch fastball in the middle of the plate, hits it right back up the middle.
Leadoff man aboard for Mike Zunino. Inside, 2-1.
Maben with 8 steals on the year. Joseph has thrown out 32% of the runners.
Count evens up. Swinging strike 3 in on the hands. That's the third strikeout for Rogers.
He's had a good slider. To the right-handers, he's been able to locate the slider in off the plate and get him to swing over the top of it. The slider been 80, 81 miles an hour.
One out, one on for D. Gordon. Saw a 7-game hitting streak snapped yesterday.
Nunez in on the grass at third, trying to take the bunt away from him.
And play. VR gets rid of it quickly, but low. They only get Maben. Be awfully tough to double up anyway.
Aaron, is this the first time we've seen D. Gordon with the face guard?
I was just asking that same question. I did not see it in Oakland.
I think it is. You and I have talked about it in the past, and I'm all for it. Get these guys a little more comfortable with it, protect themselves. Which Haniger also using it. More and more players going to it. I think with the velocity that they're seeing in today's game, why not?
Well, plus the movement with the velocity, right?
There's that, and then also you still have to stay in there for the slider and the curveball, anything that's off speed breaking. And by the time you recognize the fastball, if you're looking for a slider or a curveball, it's right on top of you. Difficult to get out of the way.
Haniger trying to extend a 14-game hitting streak, the longest of his career. This is lifted out to right field, but Jones underneath it. Haniger flies to right field to end the third inning. Mariners and Orioles scoreless. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at Safeco.com. Do more. And by the National Electrical Contractors Association Cascade Chapter, investing in our future. Mariners back home after a 3-city road trip. We go to the top of the 4th. Mariners and the Orioles. Game 1 of the series, scoreless.
Ramirez has thrown the ball well up to this point. 40 pitches, 31 strikes. Consistently working ahead of hitters.
Kerwin Danley says the VR does not go around, ball 1. This is rifled down by the pole and trouble. It is off the pole for a home run. VR's 12th of the season. 1-0 Baltimore.
Ramirez going back to the cutter. It's been a good pitch for him this evening. After missing with the curveball, tried to elevate the cutter in on his hands, but VR able to get the barrel to it. 6th home run of the year. Didn't have the same movement that we've been seeing.
Strike 1 to Mancini. Barely. Mancini, a very lengthy at bat his last time up. 9 pitches, flew out to center. 1-2 now. Good hop right there to Segura. 1 out. Well, fans have a chance to take advantage of value game savings both tomorrow and Wednesday with select bleacher or used level seats for $15 and main or club seats for $30. It's all part of Mariners Value Games presented by BECU. So just visit mariners.com/value. 1 out, a run in here in the top of the 4th. Brings up Adam Jones. But Jones, Mike, was subject of a lot of conversation at the deadline. There were almost everybody believing that Jones for sure would be traded. However,
right.
Jones was in a position where he could basically decide his future. He could veto a trade.
5 and 10 player.
Yeah. Would you quickly explain that?
Well, for him, being in the league for 10 years and same team for 5 years, and I'm not sure if he had it in his contract, if he had a no trade clause in his contract or not, but he would have to give them permission to trade him to whatever they were going to try to do, and I think a lot of people expected that to happen, but it didn't.
It didn't, yeah, because he wanted to stay put in Baltimore, and a lot of people thought, now Jones is a free agent at the end of the season, so you would think from nothing else but just a potential future contract value would be a good move for Jones to, let's say, go to the Cleveland Indians, who ended up getting Leonis Martin instead.
And play well.
Be a part of a playoff push. Maybe have a great postseason moment or two and help your status going into the offseason. But Jones wanted to stay put in Baltimore. And I think that'll surprise a lot of people, Mike. But from a player's point of view, I'm sure you can speak to the standpoint of Jones has a family. Very happy with his life off the field there in Baltimore. And he wanted to stay put.
And maybe all the other things that we were talking about, being a free agent and all those other things, aren't as important to him at this point. Certainly isn't the first or will be the last player to make that same sort of decision. But it'll be interesting. You mentioned he's a free agent at the end of the year. What will happen with Adam at the end of the year, and who he ends up signing with, if he continues to play, and what he chooses to do.
2 balls and 2 strikes to him. 1 out, nobody on.
And the other part about it too, by staying, now he has to move out of center field, and he's been playing right field.
Well, just today, John Daniels, general manager for the Rangers, told the Dallas-Fort Worth media that they had an offer that they liked for Adrian Beltre at the deadline deal at the end of August, or deadline, trade deadline at the end of August, and Beltre wanted to stay put. He did not want to leave. So there's another guy.
There's another guy.
Low line drive right to Segura. 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Of the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Two outs for Tim Beckham, who singled back in the second.
I haven't heard Adam Jones talk about it, but Adrian, I believe, said he was going to play 1 more year. I thought it was something 1, maybe 2 more.
That's a fair question.
Yeah, we will see.
Oh, 2. Jackknifed. Orioles taking the lead here in the 4th inning on a leadoff home run by Jonathan Villar.
Pretty good pitch at the top of the zone.
No, you're right.
You mentioned Martin. Ended up getting sick when he went over to Cleveland. Had to go into the hospital. He's been out of the hospital, but he will not play anymore this year.
A very serious infection. Played only 6 games for the Indians. And we are very grateful that he is at least all right now in terms of, that was truly life-threatening for Leonis. When the news originally hit, you weren't sure what to make of it. The Indians did not release many details, and then you heard Terry Francona ask people for their prayers.
Right.
Good to hear that Leonis Martin is on the mend. The 3-2. Strike 3 called outside corner. Good finishing touch to the top of the 4th. However, the Orioles have taken a 1-0 lead. game. Jonathan VR giving the Orioles a lead.
Ramirez missing with the first pitch in that at bat was a curveball. Borderline pitch, did not get the call. And the next pitch tried to throw a cutter in on his hands. Didn't quite get it there. He's able to barrel it up. Hit it off the foul pole for a home run. His 6th home run of the year.
Segura leads it off for the Mariners.
Second time through the lineup, everybody's had a look at Josh Rogers making his 2nd major league start.
Pulled high and foul.
Rogers had a pretty good slider tonight. He has to be a little more aggressive on his fastball early in counts. Just the one hit first time through, and that was Cameron Maben. Base hit back up the middle.
Caleb Joseph giving this a look, but a foul ball.
And for Gene, typically he stays in the middle of the field.
We don't see many spray charts like that.
No. Why he'll be amongst the league leaders again with base hits.
All right on cue up the middle, but gobbled up by VR.
He tried to reach back and make a catch.
Awfully close. 1 out. Brings up Robbie with 1 down and nobody aboard. Mariners have 3 games against the Orioles, then a day off, and a big weekend series against the Yankees as they come to town. Yankees losing today in Oakland to the A's in game 1 of that series.
The Oakland A's have been hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Mark Canha with a home run today.
Looks as though, by the way, that 3-game series against the Yankees here at Safeco, the Mariners will have Paxton, Felix, and Erasmo, and they'll be countered by Tanaka in game 1, Lance Lynn in game 2, CC Sabathia, who pitched today in game 3.
Some good matchups.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Cano. Mariners will miss Severino, who is pitching in the A's series.
EQC tracer, everything down and away to Robbie.
The 3-2. Missing outside for ball 4. First walk drawn by a Mariners hitter tonight. 1 out walk to Cano.
We'll bring up Nelson Cruz. Nelson had a line drive his first time up, but it was right at the left fielder for an out.
Nelly was only in Baltimore for that 1 season before signing the multi-year deal to come to Seattle, but he really left an impression there. Buck Showalter raves about Nelson Cruz. Talk to anybody who played with him. Of course, a lot of those guys are gone at this point. You remember the first year that the Mariners went to Baltimore with Nelly, so a year removed from his time there with the Orioles. Manny Machado had a celebrity bowling event on a night off when the Mariners arrived, and Nelson went to the event. And not only did he want to go, but Machado and company very much wanted him there as well. One of the most beloved, I think it's fair to say, Mike, one of the most beloved teammates of his time.
Without question. I think the interesting thing about it too, and I remember going into Baltimore, and the thing that was impressive to me about Nelson, you mentioned just the 1 year there, but He was saying hello to the security guards, the ushers, everybody that was around that was on his way to where he was going. He would stop and chat with them.
Nelson said that when he was coming up in the big leagues, it was Michael Young of the Rangers who he felt left the biggest impression on him as to what it meant to be a good teammate. A Rangers Hall of Famer.
Pretty good hitter too, Michael Young.
Can you put a little definition as to what exactly that means? I mean, when people talk about it, he's such a great teammate.
Well, I think the thing that I started thinking about after I said that was I can remember Michael Young, who was an all-star. And I'm not sure if he won a Gold Glove or not, but as the Rangers were improving and signing more and more players, he was the infielder that was constantly being moved around. As Nelson will pick up a walk, right? So back-to-back walks for the Mariners, and he didn't complain about it at all. The manager needed him to play shortstop. That's where he played. Played second base. Eventually, he was at third. Doing whatever the team asked him to do. And there's other little things about it too, which we see from Nelson all the time too. Playing every day. I'm always in the lineup, finding a way to be in the lineup, doing the right thing, playing the game the right way. I think that there's a lot to that, and players are different. Some guys are more vocal than others. Some lead by an example.
Mariners now have 2 on with 1 out. Here's Healy.
He's been one of their hottest hitters.
This is Smoke to the gap in left center field. Cano coming around third base. He makes his way home and scores. This game is tied. Healy is out at second. 2 outs, but a run in. We are even at 1.
Clutch base hit, but you saw the throw. You can see he's upset with himself because he sees the throw, and the throw is going to go towards, as you see the line driving the left center towards third base. That's the reason why he decided to try to go to second. Well, Baltimore, who has struggled in the field this year, ended up doing the right thing. They hit the cutoff man, and they were able to get him, as Nelson mentioned it earlier in the game, the bruise on his foot, not running as well as he typically would, but you can see Beckham, the shortstop, cutting the ball off and then throwing Ryan out at second base.
Seager looks at strike 1. The Mariners have 2 outs now, a tie game, and Cruz at third base. Seager with very good numbers this year against lefties. In fact, he's hit lefties better than righties.
Hitting .263 against left-handers.
Good pick at first base by Mancini, and helps save a run. We are tied after 4 innings, even at 1 apiece. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Laborers Union. Text jobs to 41411 for construction jobs in your area. And by Steel. To find your local Steel dealer, visit steeldealers.com. Nice day down by the waterfront as this game was all tied going to the top of the 5th. And a swinging strike one to Renato Nunez. Two. Mike, as we were talking about all the deals that the Orioles have made, and of course the biggest name on the trade block this year was Manny Machado, who went from Baltimore to Los Angeles to play for the Dodgers. The Dodgers have made a lot of moves to acquire, of course, Brian Dozier. Ryan Madson has joined their bullpen coming over from the Nationals. There's another foul ball to Nunez leading off the 5th. Dodgers are playing right now, but you look at the National League West, Mike. I mean, entering today, the Dodgers, the Rockies, and the Diamondbacks. The Mariners just took 2 games out of 3 from. There's a game separating the top 3 teams in the National League West. I mean, the Dodgers, for all their moves, and there's a chance they don't make the playoffs this year.
There is a chance. Colorado beat San Francisco 9-8 today, so they're still swinging the bats. Yeah, that will be fun to watch. And going into today, they're half game back of the Dodgers. Arizona a game out. It's interesting to me. You mentioned a bunch of the names with the Dodgers. About the year Max Muncy has had for them.
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
Out of absolutely nowhere, as you see the standings right now in the West. And these are the updated standings now. Angels and Rockies tied at the top. You know, that 3-game series when the Dodgers were in town for that weekend, it seemed like they hardly chased a pitch, which is strange from a lineup that it seemed like almost top to bottom has subscribed to this philosophy of let's swing up on the ball.
Right. Get it in the air.
A very much a Mitch Haniger type approach.
Well, that's what I was thinking about when I mentioned Muncy, because Muncy's saying similar things to what Mitch talks about when you talk to him about hitting. And Muncy, and I don't know if they know each other or maybe talking to some of the same people, but a lot of that is what Muncy has talked about, and it's changed his career. He's having easily his best year ever, and hitting for a lot of power.
Muncy, who we saw for a couple of years with the A's, hit 5 home runs in about 100 games for Oakland, and he has 31 homers this year. Strike 3 call. 4th strikeout for Erasmo Ramirez.
Ramirez has just dialed up the outside corner on all the right-handed hitters. There's 6 right-handed hitters in the lineup tonight for Baltimore, and he is wearing out the outside corner at the knees. Do you have a favorite, by the way, in the West? I mean, like one team better than the other?
Well, we saw the Rockies at maybe their best.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, they looked like a really good team against the Mariners, especially when they saw them right before the All-Star break, unfortunately, at Coors Field. It is really difficult to imagine the Dodgers with all that talent and that payroll. In particular, Cisco has an easy ground ball to Robbie. It's hard to imagine them not making the postseason. But stranger things have happened, or at least, you know, when I say not make the postseason, maybe they make it to the wild card game if they get bounced, which would be making the playoffs. That would be disappointment, no doubt. I really liked that Diamondback club when we saw them for 3 games.
Yeah, they all have their strengths. It's interesting looking at the National League West, and the Mariners have a better record than Colorado or Arizona.
Funny how that works out.
It is.
Sometimes you're just in the wrong division.
It is.
Or league.
Mariners this year, of course, Houston winning the World Series last year. Talked a lot about their rotation in Oakland. Nobody has been hotter than them, unfortunately, for the Mariners.
2 outs, nobody on. A ball and a strike to Rickard.
Cut her away.
Strike 3 called again. Fastball dialed in outside corner. 5 strikeouts through 5 frames. Well, make your voice heard. Nominate your favorite plays of the week by tweeting us using the hashtag RootFanFave. Watch the Mariners pregame show every Sunday to find out your fan favorite plays of the week. Plus, each month, one lucky fan will win a Coors Light Yeti cooler just for participating. For official rules, just visit rootsports.com. Great night to be out of the pen as the Mariners and the Orioles are all tied. Cameron Maben, bottom third of the order, coming to the plate.
Cameron was aggressive in his first at bat, picking up a base hit. Base hit back up the middle. It's a first pitch slider this time, fouls it off.
This is socked out high right center field. Mullins looking, and it one hops. Maben pedaling quickly over to third. Headlong slide, he's safe. Leadoff triple for Cameron Maben.
Staying aggressive, gets a fastball in the middle of the plate, maybe middle away. Primera Supermo, and full extension right on the barrel. Short hops the wall and right. Fortunately, it stays in the ballpark so that he can get a triple. And then he was able to hang on to the corner of the base. Infield in for Baltimore.
Ball one to Zunino. You're right about it staying in, Mike, because when that ball, when you could tell it wasn't going to get out, you thought, well, for sure it's going over the fence. He's going to be held at second base.
Bounce over, yeah.
Foul ball, 1-1. Mariners a chance to take the lead here in the bottom of the fifth. The 1-1. How does your approach change in a situation like this, Mike?
Now that he has 2 strikes? Well, the infield is in, so you have to just try to find a way to put the ball in play if you can. There isn't anybody out. D. Gordon is waiting on deck, but the main thing for Mike is they tried to pitch him up top. We've seen that over the last couple of weeks, and that was a pretty good pitch to hit right there at the top of the strike zone at 89 miles an hour. So I think that's where he's going to be at. Also has seen the slider in off the plate. So he's going to have to try to lay off of that, but typically you'll cut your swing down, just try to find a way to put it in play, and the infield in, hopefully pick up an RBI that way, drive in the runner from third. Change up, so he's seen everything so far. Curveball, slider, change up, and his fastball. Really talking to Mike this year. He's thinking the way that he wants to. He's constantly talking about thinking about right center field, and that's kind of where you want to be right now, kind of almost in between. Rogers really doesn't throw that hard. His fastball's been 89-90. Set up inside again. There's a slider.
1 down.
EQC Tracer had it as a strike as he swings over the top of it.
Distraction occurs anytime you take your eyes off the road. If you're on the road, off the phone. Let's reach our target zero goal together. 0 traffic deaths in your family, 0 traffic deaths in our state.
Now they're really going to shorten up. Plus speed at third, and of course with D. Gordon, you never know. He may try to take a bunt with them. They have really shortened up. Typically in this situation, he'll try to slap the ball the other way. Take advantage of the lack of range the infielders will have because they're so close to him.
Plenty deep out to the gap in left center. Rickard making the catch. Maben can coast home. D. Gordon's sacrifice fly has given the Mariners a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the fifth.
For D, because the infield was in, he lets the ball travel and was going to hit the ball the other way. Fortunately, it's in the air that time. Sacrifice fly. May have been having a good night. A couple of base hits and now scored a run.
First pitch strike to Haniger. Jack swing foul.
Mitch has a 14-game hitting streak going, 0 for 2 this evening.
He's been one of the best hitters over the last 5 weeks in the majors. The 2-2.
There's a slider again. For Ramirez, it's been the cutter down and away to the right-handers, and for Rogers, it's been the slider in on the hands of the righties. Changeup.
Full count. Now Gene would be next. 2 outs, nobody on. A run in for the Mariners to take the lead. This is cranked high, out to left center, carrying back by the wall and off the wall. Mariners a chance for their, and it will be, another triple in this inning. Haniger held at third. Maven a 3-base hit. Now Mitch Haniger, a 15-game hitting streak for Mitch Haniger. And oh, so close from being out of the ballpark.
7 pitches in the at-bat. It's seen the slider and the changeup. Rogers tries to throw him a fastball in the outside corner. It is on the corner, but it's elevated for him, and that is right on the barrel. Thought he had enough of it to hit it into the pen, but it'll be off the wall for an easy triple.
I would say I think Mitch thought that was getting out too, Mike.
Yeah, I thought it was. Ends up with an easy triple.
Oh, very close.
Now we'll bring up Gene Segura, who's also been hot lately, picking up a lot of hits.
Already activity inside the bullpen. Jeffrey Ramirez getting loose. Going bunts and getting out of the way.
Not a bad idea. Nunez was playing back at third. Play even with the bag.
To right, Adam Jones back in front of the track, makes the catch. Segura out number 3. Haniger stranded, but a run scored after the leadoff triple by Cameron Maven. Well, the bottom of the 5th was brought to you by Heritage Distilling BSB Brown Sugar Bourbon. You can't spell baseball without BSB. Beautiful night from inside Safeco Field, where the Mariners now play with the lead. We go to the 6th, 2-1. leading the Orioles in game 1 of this 3-game series. A day off, then the Yankees come to town. Caleb Joseph, number 9 hitting catcher, begins things for the Orioles.
Ramirez has really thrown the ball well, just the solo home run.
Off the foul pole.
Off the foul pole, correct. Command of the fastball today, especially the cutter. Now it's 75 pitches. So Nick Vincent, Zach Duke getting loose in the pen.
Easy pop up.
I think Robbie will take it.
He's got it. Really went on a limb there. 1 up, 1 down. Well, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Ken Griffey Jr. Pop collectible thanks to Funko. And the Mariners face off against the Rangers on Saturday, September 29th. A number of limited edition collectibles will be mixed in, including 1,000 rookie and 24 bronze statue versions. Swing by Mariners.com to pick up your tickets. Now that'll be it for Erasmo. 1 run over 5 1/3. He exits with the lead. We've got a pitching change. Mariners leading the Orioles. Solid night, to say the least, for Erasmo Ramirez, Mike.
Really threw the ball well tonight, bouncing back after his last outing against San Diego. Had command of the strike zone, throwing a lot of strikes, which is what you want to do. Also, stay away from walks. Don't help Baltimore out. They have struggled offensively this year, last in hitting in the American League, so wouldn't be aggressive. And his cutter for him today was an excellent pitch. Overall, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. It was the solo home run. Didn't walk anybody. 5 strikeouts, 77 pitches, 55 strikes.
Our Beacon Plumbing call to the pin. And Scott Service calls on lefty Zach Duke to work here with 1 out and nobody on.
A couple of switch hitters are due for Baltimore. 60 appearances on the year, 4.26 ERA, 42 strikeouts, over 20 walks. Opponents hitting .286. Fastball will be in the upper 80s. Good running fastball. Also has a slider.
Corners pinch in a little bit here for Mullins, who chops it high and foul. Leadoff hitter 0 for 2. Fewer than 100 at-bats in his young big league career. 23-year-old rookie. When you think about how long some rookies take, Mike, to get their first major league hit. He picked up 3 in his major league debut this year. A 3-hit debut. It's not that easy. Good play by Seager. And they call it a foul ball. Mullins heading back.
right down the line. Kyle able to make the backhanded play. He was playing in because of the speed. It was called foul. Yeah, I think for most players, when they're called up to the big leagues, they'd like to get that hit out of the way. You're not sure how long you're going to be around. If you're ever going to get the chance again.
Well, he took advantage of his debut. That was earlier in August. One out, nobody on, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mullins. Foul ball. Spins him around like a top. Mullins down swinging, 2 outs.
We thought 3-2 he was going to get the fastball again, but instead it's the slider. A super mow and the break down and in gets him to swing right over the top of it.
Now facing VR. Solo home run up the foul pole. The only offense so far tonight by the Orioles is taking. We saw VR on a regular basis during the Astros rebuild time. He was then traded away by Houston. Only a couple of years ago, the VR led the majors with 62 steals. One quick skip. Robbie snares it beautifully for out number 3. And nobody makes it look that easy like Robinson Cano. A very happy Labor Day. Glad you're with us here on Root Sports for the opening game of this 3-game series. The Mariners and the Orioles. Mariners on top 2-1. A run in the 4th, another run in the 5th. The Mariners having some big bats come to the plate here in the 6th. Cano, Cruz, and Healy. Fouled straight back.
Right-hander getting loose in the pen for Baltimore. Rogers in his first outing against Toronto, he threw 85 pitches.
Squibber over to Beckham.
That ground ball is now at 80 pitches for the game. So and Buck Showalter out of the dugout quickly.
Very quickly, you're right. He's got an agenda. Jimmy Yacobonis getting loose and coming in. We've got a pitching change. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Tonight's T-Mobile's built for baseball. A couple of triples for the Mariners in the same inning, no less. Cameron Maven with the first, Mike.
This one out to right center field. Fortunately, it stayed in the ballpark. Hit right off the top of the fence when it bounced off the warning track.
Now, let's note the home to third sprint time. It's basically 12.1 seconds, right? Now here's Haniger. As we noted at the time, Mike, he slowed up thinking that this was out, and you can see why.
I thought it was out.
Just off the yellow stripe.
But once he saw it hit the fence, it was an easy triple for him.
About 12.6 seconds home to third for Haniger, even with a little bit of a slowdown. Jimmy Yacobonis, the new pitcher. Strike 1 to Cruz.
And for Josh Rogers, 5 1/3, 4 hits, a couple of runs. They were earned. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 80 pitches, 50 strikes. Bonus was 19 1/3, 16 strikeouts. Bonus hitting .313. He's given up 5 home runs. A lot of home runs in 19 1/3.
Yacobonis sounds like he should be playing the stretch 4 position opposed to being a major league pitcher. Mariners saw him earlier this year. What a nifty play there by Nunez. That got to him fast. 2 outs. Our CenturyLink What's Next series continues tomorrow. Middle game of the series. Alex Cobb, the Mariners saw him back in Baltimore earlier this year. His first season with the Orioles. And a rough one going up against Wade LeBlanc. LeBlanc coming off a beauty. First pitch time at 7:10. Our pregame coverage beginning as usual at 6:30 here on Root Sports. Hope you can join us.
Tough year for Alex Cobb. Towards the end of the winter, a lot of people talking about him and where he was going to end up, and there were a lot of teams interested, obviously, but it did not work out for him at all this year. 4-15 with an ERA over 5.
Yeah, and unlike Lance Lynn, who I believe signed that one-year deal, now he's with the Yankees. We'll be seeing him, it looks like, when the Yankees come to town over the weekend. It was a multi-year deal, as we discussed earlier, for Cobb. There's a bit of a difference there. 2 outs for Healy.
Ryan drove in the first run for the Mariners in the 4th inning. He has 68 RBIs on the year.
Two and one. And Cabonis made a start against the Mariners earlier this season. He's primarily been a reliever, though, in his very young, still big league career. He debuted last season, pitched basically just 20 innings. Healy ahead 3-1 now. Ryan with a 6-game hitting streak after a single in the 4th. Draws a walk. A walk yesterday for Healy as well. Not something that happens too often. Get Saturn train and Link Light Rail tickets right to your phone. Paying is easy with the Transit Go Ticket app. Two-out walk to Healy extends the inning. Seager climbing in here, and now they're trying to put Seager on.
No, I think just moving the defense.
Strike one. Don't they have cards for that now, Mike? Come on,
think so, right?
Who does that anymore?
Well, they're going to change it again. Nunez moving over to the right side. Nick Vincent still throwing in the pen for the Mariners, so looks like he will pitch the 7th.
It was Joe West just a few days ago who had a conversation with a National League reliever because he had one of those cards in his back pocket, and Cowboy Joe ruled that a foreign substance. Major League Baseball has since declared that it's okay.
He took the card from him.
It's proprietary information. Of course, you see outfielders use it all the time, but
how do you expect him to pitch without a card?
I actually saw Zach Greinke have a card last Sunday in Arizona. That's the first time I've ever seen a pitcher with one of those.
Gary Hill was talking to me about it. Was wondering if, as a hitter, if it would bother me, and I told him no. They already have a scouting report. He has to execute the pitch.
Yeah. I would think that's what your catcher is for. Old foul. By the way, I'm not sure if we'll see a pitcher all season who changed speeds like Greinke did that day.
I agree.
That was a clinic.
He went through a stretch there where, again, he lost some of his velocity and was being hit. Just kind of swings at that pitch, but he's figured it out and is really mixing it up now.
62-mile-an-hour curveballs. Mariners lead it through 6. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, a Mariners double play means free jumbo jacks from Jack in the Box. By Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. A gorgeous sunset beyond Safeco Field as we move to the 7th. Mariners leading the Orioles 2-1. Well, the Mariners are set to host the New York Yankees for a weekend series beginning Friday. You can watch Giancarlo Stanton and the Yankees slug it out with Nelson Cruz, Mitch Haniger, and the Mariners. Get seats while they last at Mariners.com. We hope to see you here at the ballpark.
I think Vincent will take over for the Mariners. 51 appearances on the year, a 4.24 ERA, 44 strikeouts, over 13 walks. Opponents hitting just .228. Fastball at 90, cutter 87, and a slider.
First pitch in play, right to Gene Segura. One down. All right, Geico, this day to big league history. We go all the way back, Mike, to 1928. The Georgia Peach Ty Cobb gets his 4,191st and his final hits, which came as a player manager, by the way. Player manager for the Philadelphia A's, which I couldn't help but notice that he was a pinch hitter, which I kind of find that interesting, that you're watching the game as a manager and you say, you know what, I think it's time for me. Guys, let me handle this.
I actually did that.
You did that?
Yes.
Now, how did you do that?
In the PCL. I'd hurt myself the day before. I can't remember what it was. A hamstring, quad, something. Anyway, I wasn't in the starting lineup. And Pedro Martinez, we were in Albuquerque, was on the mound. And I think it was Bert Heffernan hit a home run off of him. He hits Chris Howard, I believe. I think I have the combination right. Hits Chris Howard. Then we get into this whole thing. A number of people ended up getting thrown out of the game, including our manager and our pitching coach. So he handed me the card on his way to the clubhouse, and I was in charge. And at that time, we were down, I don't remember, I think it was 12-2 or 3.
Now, hold on. This is no offense to a young Mike Flowers. You're telling me that there's nobody left? There's no coach left? There's a hitting coach? Somebody?
There's nobody. That's it.
You're the most trustworthy candidate.
I would think so. Why do you act so surprised? But we started a rally, and it got to the point to where they brought in a left-handed pitcher. I pinch hit.
You called your own number.
Yep. And then I think I had a pitcher pinch run for me because my leg was still hurt.
Oh, okay. Like, guys, I've done my part.
And because of all those things, we ended up coming back and winning the game, so I am 1-0 in the PCL.
Jones down swinging. Are you serious? How have I never heard this before?
Not sure.
It's not like we don't talk every day. 2 up, 2 down by Vincent, making quick work of things, now facing Beckham.
I think at the time it was in Calgary, which was the AAA for the Mariners at the time, and we had a manager. Our pitching coach was Ross Grinsley, and I think that was it as far as the coaching goes.
Really?
Yeah.
Different time. 2 outs, nobody on for Beckham. Like Vincent not even working up a sweat. He comes in, puts it away. Oh, no, he doesn't. Beckham to second.
He's had a number of chances tonight and it hasn't been a problem at all. I'm not sure what happened right here. He's looking at it the whole way, seems to have it, and just missed it. Wow. Typically when that happens, it'll go off the heel of the glove.
An error on D keeps the 7th alive. And it brings up Renato Nunez.
And as he was tracking it, he didn't appear to lose it in the sky at all. Just missed it.
0-1. 0-2 now.
Well, and the cutter was such a good pitch for Ramirez, and now Nick Vincent staying with the cutter himself, quickly ahead. All strikes, 9 pitches, 9 strikes.
Pitches, 10 strikes. Nick Vincent, a couple of strikeouts in the top of the 7th. We'll stay right here for God Bless America.
Before we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, here on this Labor Day weekend, we ask you to please rise and direct your attention to home plate. To present God Bless America, please welcome once again Paget Shand.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Take me out to play Washington's lottery. From earlier tonight, beautiful sunset here in Seattle as the Mariners lead the Orioles 2-1 going to the bottom of the 7th. It's a whole new game with RBI Baseball 18. This game delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now at RBIGame.com, rated E for everyone. Cameron Maybin, a triple his last time up and a run scored. He leads off the home 7th. Acabona steals ball 1.
Maybin is 2 for 2 tonight. He's been really aggressive at the plate, and it's paid off for him.
Well, Mike, just to wrap it all up, I think this is when you thank me for telling you that you have something in common with Ty Cobb, right? I mean, you would have never known this.
You mentioned the Ty Cobb thing. I think I told you I have something in common with him.
Fair enough. I still can't believe I didn't know that. Now, was the pitcher surprised when you called for him to pinch run? I mean, he had to be. Nobody saw this coming.
I think he was, yes. From what I can remember, it's a long time ago.
You seem to remember everything else pretty clearly. May have been caught looking. I mean, you basically had the Marco Gonzalez of your team come pinch run for you. Fair to say?
Yeah.
The Mike Leake.
Yeah. That's who it was.
1 out. Here's Zunino. Second strikeout for Yacobonis. Oh, 1. Well, the Mariners need a win today to keep pace with the A's, who won earlier this afternoon against the Yankees.
So, Aaron, as you were working your way through the minor leagues, you never saw anything like that where the manager gets thrown out of the game? And
can I be honest with minor league stories? Minor league stories were way cooler like 20 years ago. I mean, the minor leagues now have become, no, they're not the major leagues, obviously,
right,
but things are much more normal now than the whole, although I did have a bus breakdown one time. But
well, that's part of it.
It is part of it, but I feel like anybody who spent time in the minors has had like a dozen buses broken down, or buses go off the road and
right,
they leave people behind. Yeah. Right, like all these things,
right,
like Bull Durham 2.0.
Sure. Now the ballparks are beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all different.
I mean, not that it's a bed of roses in the minors. I don't know. Maybe I was just with boring clubs. That could also be a part of it.
What's funny with all that too is listening to you talk about it is listening to Rick Riz, and you go back, you know, how many years for Rick when he was in the minor leagues, been in the major leagues for over 30 years now, but he talks about having to do the laundry,
sure,
sell advertising, all of that stuff, and broadcast the games.
That's how we got into it.
Yeah.
The payoff. They say that he goes. Zunino thinking he took ball 4. Back-to-back strikeouts. Well, coming up on Root Sports, it's another Beacon Plumbing high school football game. Tune in on Thursday to see the Hawkinson Hawks versus the Archbishop Murphy Wildcats at 7 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss the action this season on Root Sports. Brought to you by Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical and Mechanical. Stop freaking, call Beacon. Ball 1 to D. Gordon.
He with an RBI. Sacrifice fly his last time up.
Although, Mike, I will say my first road trip as a minor league broadcaster, I had no idea what time the bus left after the game. Coleman gets loose, and I was panicking that I would miss the bus. And so,
and I imagine you have to wrap things up, right?
You got to you do the post game. You got to get out of there, get out of the press box, get downstairs. My way that I came into the ballpark was locked to get out of the ballpark at that time of night. I've never been in this ballpark before. It's my first ever road trip.
Are you carrying equipment too?
I just have my bag with computer, scorebook, all those things. And so I go kind of through the bowels of this minor league ballpark, and I come across a chain link fence that is locked, and it's, well, it felt like at least 10 feet high. So, Mike, I did the only thing that I could with my bag. I scaled the fence, went over it, raced to the bus, and I was the first guy to get on the bus. But I made it. I took my time the next night. foul ball.
What a battle.
Bonus has struck out 3 straight. Holds back.
7 pitches, everything away from him. And you remember the fence being 10 feet high. That's what you're telling me.
It might have been 12, Mike. Soft line drive, and VR makes the catch. Diving catch, Jonathan VR. And that ends the 7th. Side sat down in order.
Hey everybody, Angie Mentink here at the Ford Sports Desk. By now you know about the bet between Scott Service and Edwin Diaz. For his 50th save, they made a deal, and if he got to 50 saves, and Edwin Diaz did, then Scott Service was going to have to get the Eddie Diaz haircut. Well, tonight, lucky fans here at the ballpark, including Nick Beckman right there, my cameraman, also got the Edwin Diaz haircut. Bubba getting in on the action as well. This is what it was. 2,000 tickets were sold. They're out in center field. It's Electric Eddie's Barbershop on the main course out in left center field. Now you had the option, in addition to the cool t-shirt you got, if you wanted, you get a voucher for an Electric Eddie Diaz do out in left center field. A lot of fans took this. I really thought that Aaron Goldsmith would look fantastic, and I am not the only one, because Heather, Aaron's wife, tweets this, Aaron. Aaron has his wife's enthusiastic permission to get the Diaz haircut tonight. So I'm just letting you know.
Well, let me tell you how.
You got the whole pass. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's all cool. And I can get a guy up there. I can totally get a guy up there.
Well, let me tell you how enthusiastic she is. I went to her Twitter timeline. This was her second tweet since 2014.
So she's totally into it.
She's pretty fired up about the idea of it. Yeah, she's
done deal then.
Yeah. Happy wife.
Happy life.
Here is Colomé on the pitch here in the 8th inning, starting things off with strike 1.
Yeah, for Alex, 60 appearances on the year, a 3.57 ERA, 62 strikeouts in 58 innings. Opponents hitting .242 against a mid-90s fastball, low 90s slider.
Facing Francisco, the DH, batting 7th. Falling behind. Well, Guillermo Heredia has taken over for D. Gordon in center field. Late inning defensive replacement in a one-run game. There's a strike. Infield moves around a little bit now on a 2-2 count as Segura swings over in the shift. Seager backs away. Plays near the bag at second. Cisco batting just 192 now on the season. And he thumps this down by the pole. It is a foul ball.
First 5 pitches all away from him. This one's middle in, and he turns on it. That is not foul by much. Just challenge him with a fastball at 95 miles an hour. It was middle in. Stay with the outer half.
He got him. After a close scare, 1 out.
Well, after the fastball, he comes right back with the slider down out of the strike zone. Swings over the top, 91 miles an hour.
First pitch of Joey Rickard, ball 1. Now Buck Showalter and the Orioles must be very familiar with Colomé after he spent his whole career in the American League East with Tampa Bay before being acquired by Jerry Dipoto. To Heredia on a bounce. One out single, tying run is aboard.
It's on a fastball, 96 miles an hour in the middle of the plate.
One out, one on for Caleb Joseph, 0 for his last 15. That, by the way, was the first hit by an Orioles batter since the home run of the 4th by VR. Only man that had reached between then and now was Tim Beckham on the air by D. Gordon in center field. Chance for 2. Cano gets rid of it quickly. Fastball to first. It is in time. Taken by Healy, the double play to end the inning. Well, Colomé got exactly what he needed, Mike, this double play.
Little flip. And then a pretty good fastball from Segura to first base to finish it. Throws him out by about a step and a half.
This throw by Segura onto Healy clocked at 84 miles an hour. Gets him by plenty. New pitcher Miguel Castro taking over on the mound.
55 appearances, a 4.18 ERA, 53 strikeouts over 46 walks. 46 walks in 75 1/3. He can get wild. Opponents hitting .233 against him. He does have a good fastball at 96 miles an hour, slider changeup.
Haniger extended his career best hitting streak to 15 games with a triple in the 5th inning. Mariners would love to give Edwin Diaz a little wiggle room.
Edwin getting loose right now.
Cuts through that fastball. 1-1. Haniger batting .340 since the start of August. He leads the majors with 14 doubles in that time frame. Behind the count.
Got a triple in the 5th inning. Extend his hitting streak to 15 games.
Peeled down to first base in the check swing. It does not go. John Lipka, our first base umpire tonight. 2-2. Castro facing the top of the order. Payoff to Haniger. Now you appeal down to first base. He does not go. It's a leadoff walk. Haniger on base for the 2nd time tonight. Well, after this one is over with, we hope you stick around. We'll have Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines. A chance to hear from the skipper, Scott Service. And out here from Erasmo Ramirez as well. Ramirez pitching into the 6th, just 2 hits. Over 5 1/3. The 1 run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Leadoff man on base for Segura.
Keena's 0 for 3.
Back and away, strike 1. To VR, on to first. It is not in time. One out. Haniger safe. Join us tomorrow during the Mariners game for Twitter Tuesday. You'll have 5 chances to win exciting prizes just by interacting with us on Twitter throughout the game. We'll be posting questions. Want to hear from you, so be sure to watch and follow us on Twitter at RootSports_NW. For giveaway rules, visit rootsports.com. Here is our pitching matchup for tomorrow. Alex Cobb has had a rough year, #1 with the Orioles, taking on Wade LeBlanc. On the air at 6:30 tomorrow. First pitch at 7:10, game 2 of the series. Ball 1 to Cano. Into center, but caught before it gets there by Beckham. Ranging off to his left. 2 outs.
And a couple of line drives just right at him. Segura hit a line drive to the second baseman, and now that one. Perfectly timed.
So 2 hard outs in back of the leadoff walk to Haniger. Here is Nelly. Cruz over 2 with a walk. First pitch striking 98 miles an hour. Behind 0-2. Able to hold back on the swing. Now, so far the offense tonight just enough. RBI by Healy in the 4th. Sac fly by Gordon in the 5th. Now the walk to strikeout ratio for Castro this year not good at all, but my goodness, does he have a live arm.
Topped out at 98. Pretty good slider tonight. Ryan Healy waiting on deck.
Again the 1-2. Broken back, saws him off. A little bloop into right field for a base hit as Haniger makes his way into 3rd. Nelson Cruz jammed but gets a base hit out of it. 2 outs and runners on the corners.
For Nelson, he ends up breaking his bat. Primera Supermo, and the swing by Nelson Cruz, running a fastball inside. That is off the label.
Christopher Negron running at first base. New addition to the Mariners. Blocked by Joseph. Ball 1.
Ryan Healy has been a hot hitter for the Mariners. As Aaron mentioned earlier, has already driven in a run. 68 RBIs on the year. Missing with a couple of sliders.
Haniger the leadoff walk now at 3rd. Negron pinch running at 1st. First time in a Mariners uniform. Big rip and a miss.
Challenged him with a fastball at 96 miles an hour.
Right back up the middle. BR, a diving stop. What a play. My goodness. That is incredible.
He takes another RBI away from Healy. He hits it hard back up the middle. And just a great effort by BR. That will end the inning.
All right, Eddie. No wiggle room. A chance for Diaz, his 52nd save of the season. Orioles down to their final 3 outs, facing this man when we come back. Two-1 Mariners. Orioles down to their final 3 outs as we move to the top of the 9th inning. Edwin Diaz on to pitch for the Mariners.
Tremendous season for Diaz. Fastball being the upper 90s and a hard slider. 65 appearances, 51 saves, 112 strikeouts, and 65 and a third. Opponents hitting 159 against him.
Two and one. Evens the count.
So far for Edwin, he's topped out at 95. His fastball 94 miles an hour. There's 97.
Now Diaz has one of the greatest strikeout rates in baseball history for a reliever. He struck out 45% of batters faced this year. That was a full count, however, to Mullins. The 3-2. Obviously for Diaz, the most saves by any Mariners reliever in franchise history, the most strikeouts by any Mariners reliever in club history. So VR waits on deck. Another 3-2. Right back of the glove, tipped back there at 97 miles an hour. One down.
97 located on the outside corner. Well, it's a pretty good battle. 8 pitches. Mike set up in the middle of the plate. Run to that fastball. Moving, working its way to the outside corner.
Now facing VR, who had that miraculous play to take a run off the board for the Mariners to end the bottom of the 8th. Also a home run tonight.
Diaz missing with a slider.
this up. Zunino has no chance at it. You've seen, obviously, Mike, Diaz with the glove hand that twists the wrist with every delivery. It almost is kind of cause for distraction for a hitter. I asked Edwin if that's something that he does intentionally. Like, is this something that, for the moving parts aspect to it? He said even when he plays catch, he still has that twist of the wrist.
Yeah.
1-2 now. Good look at it. The 1-2. Slider misses.
Another off-speed pitch down out of the strike zone, barely getting a piece of it.
For Diaz, just another day on the mound, pitching with a 1-run lead in the 9th.
First two hitters are putting up a battle, though. Be the 7th pitch of this at bat.
'98 on the hands. You're right, Mike. Normally 15 pitches is 3 outs, not 1.
Right.
For Edwin.
Back-to-back 3-2 counts.
Mancini's got pop. He's on deck. And he's climbing the all-time ranks, 9th best all-time single-season baseball history. Swing and a miss. The slider gets him back-to-back strikeouts.
8 pitches to retire the leadoff hitter. 9 pitches in that at bat. But he wins the battle both times, and that's what the most important thing is. Down out of the strike zone. Another off-speed pitch. Primera Supermo. Villar swings right over the top of it.
The first to Mancini. Strike 1.
Ties him up with a fastball. 96 on his hands. Late swing. That was his best fastball, 98.
It was right there. Ahead 1-2. He is 1 strike away from save number 52. Pitches now for Edwin. Adam Jones on deck. Diaz on 2-2. Healy chasing over, running out of room. Foul ball. Another 2-2. He got him this time. Diaz strikes out the side in order. And the Mariners needed to win tonight. They do.
They needed to win to keep pace with the A's. Ramirez really pitched well, 5 1/3, gave up just the 1 run. The bullpen was excellent tonight. And hopefully the Mariners a little more offense tomorrow would certainly help.
Well, they win it by just enough. 2-1 the final score. Diaz notches save number 52. Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines. It begins right now. Ryan Bradham, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. Mariners do get just enough offense to win game 1 of the set by a score of 2-1. And I guess it's fitting on Electric Eddie's barbershop night when fans were getting free Eddie haircuts. I guess it's fitting that Eddie himself able to close this one out. The original haircut and save number 52. And he's still trying to get you up there, but fitting.
Hey, I offered.
I know it, but another 1-run save for Eddie Diaz. He's been just unbelievable this year.
He has been. And when you're clinging to that 1-run lead and all of a sudden you hear that Edwin Diaz walkout music, I still don't know the words. I probably never will. But when you see that highlight video here at Safeco Field, he's coming out, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. An absolute historic year. That's his 26th 1-run save, and he just keeps going. He's going to have a strong month of September. His numbers in the second half are better than the first half, so you know he's not fading either.
And not slowing down at all. 52 saves now, 77 wins for the Mariners. And just enough offense. We go down to the field and join Jen Mueller. Standing by with Cameron Maben.
Yeah, Cameron Maben with a triple in the middle of the game. And I'm curious, Cam, how were you reading that one off the bat? It was an interesting one.
This is a really big ballpark. I thought I hit that ball pretty good. I thought I had a chance, but I've been blessed with some good speed and I was able to get to third. And D did a great job of getting me in. It was a big run, and our bullpen did an outstanding job. Erasmo did a great job, of controlling the game, and it was a big win for us tonight.
You talk about the speed that you have. It looked like you kicked it into another gear rounding second. Is there a name for that gear?
I don't know what gear it is, but I did. Right there, it's a lot easier to score from third with less than 2 outs. So just trying to get there for my guys, and it was a big hit and a big run.
And a couple of batters later, Mitch Haniger triples. That extends his hitting streak to 15 games. Can you put into perspective how difficult that is and how impressive it is?
It's tough, man. This is not an easy league. The pitchers continue to get better and better each year. I think it says a lot about how much Mitch has worked on his game. It's fun having him as a locker mate, talking hitting every day. He comes ready to go, prepared, ready to battle with the guys, and it's been fun watching him from the other side of the diamond, but it's been even more fun being his teammate.
Fun to watch Cameron Maben score the go-ahead run tonight as the Mariners win another 1-run game.
All right, Jen, thank you. Yes, imagine that. It's their 27th 1-run win, which leads the major leagues, and Eddie getting it done. Maben struggled since coming over, a couple of knocks tonight, so nice to see the offense coming through just enough in a game they had to have.
They really did. This was a must-win early September, but yeah, you have to take these.
Especially knowing that Oakland already won. We'll talk more about the AL West, but how about in the 8th inning? 1 on, 1 out, Colomé pitching, and the nice 4-6-3 double play to get out of the 8th inning. That sets up Diaz, who strikes out the side in the 9th, and the Mariners take game 1 by a score of 2-1. We're back with reaction and highlights, talking more about tomorrow on Mariners postgame, presented by Alaska Airlines.